Hey guys, it's coffee time. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. It's coffee, sirs and madams. Sickeningly sweet coffee, just what I wanted today. So, something that Erin always does is when she has leftover coffee, she puts it like in a pitcher or even just in a cup and then puts it into the fridge so that later she can have iced coffee. And I've always been like, oh, that's so smart. So today I did that. I made a batch of coffee, had one cup hot, and then the rest of it I put into the fridge. I was like, all right, I'll have some iced coffee later, you know? That sounds good. So I took it out and put it in this cup and then put a bunch of ice in there. And I was like, oh no, we're not done. Because I remembered that I had a bunch of vanilla non-dairy creamer left. So plopped some of that in there. It's delicious. Oh my gosh. It's sickeningly everything that I want in a drink right now. On NPR today, which I've started listening to so much NPR because with the longer commute, I can't sit there and listen to the exact same songs over and over and over again. I mean, the classical station is always there for me in times of need when I'm just like, I've heard this Imagine Dragons song like 3,000 times in one 30-minute drive. But I've started listening to NPR. And today, for whatever reason, and I was so excited, they were talking about the military and their relationship with coffee. Isn't that weird? I was like, this is so interesting. They were talking about how most of the time you get instant coffee, but every now and then you would get real coffee, and they were talking about how they would make it and what they would do with it. And it was really cool because it was stories from lots of different wars. Specifically, these were specifically stories from Americans that were in the wars, I think. But one of them was like, yeah, we would take coffee grounds and like put them almost like cocaine, like put them along our teeth, like along our gums to just get that caffeine. And sometimes dudes would take the instant coffee packets and like just put the instant coffee in their mouth and then take a drink of water and just like swig it down. But the one that I thought was hilarious, like hilariously terrifying, was they were saying that sometimes you'd get real coffee and you'd take your helmet, like when they had the metal, not the metal, I can't think of the material right now, but you'd take your helmet and you would put coffee and water into the helmet and you would cook it in the helmet and then you'd share it amongst everybody. And they were like, but how would you cook it? Because a lot of times during war, you're not allowed to set fires because then it gives you away, like gives off your position. So they were saying what they would do is they would take C4, like just the right amount of C4 to heat up this coffee, and then they would all drink it. It blew my mind. I was like, what? That's terrifying. But a lot of, I guess like, especially in the older wars, a lot of people come back like having this really strong love for coffee because it's something that you don't get very often when you're out there, but is like so necessary in some form or another to just like get caffeine. So like a lot of times, especially when they're really cold, they're just sitting around going, man, I could go for a cup of coffee right now. And then when they finally get that cup of coffee, they're like, this is the best coffee I've ever had in my life. I was like, man, these stories are so interesting. And then they moved on to, I was driving at a time that I don't normally drive, but they were doing a segment called To the Point that made me laugh so hard because the fact that it was called To the Point must be ironic. Like, that must be intentionally ironic because every single time that the guy came on and was like, you are currently listening to On the Point on NPR, or To the Point on NPR, he would say, like, today we're talking about internet anonymity coming soon, but first off, we're going to talk about such and such. And I was like, this isn't to the point at all. It was hilarious to me. It's like, you can't have, like, legitimately wanted it to call. Oh my gosh. It was so funny to me. NPR is the silliest, but I love it. Like, NPR is so unafraid to just talk about anything, and I really like that, and I really appreciate that, and they have such a wide variety of crazy shows that they do. and like lots of different music and world news and interesting stuff like that. And I feel like I learn from it, you know. But I'm really excited to one day, either whenever I trade my car in or whenever I get a new stereo, I'm really excited to be able to listen to podcasts in the car, because there's so many podcasts that people constantly tell me that I need to listen to. Not just like narrative stuff like Welcome to Night Vale, but like legitimate news podcasts or like learn something podcasts that I'm like, man, that sounds really interesting. I don't listen to them because I have no desire to listen to them when I'm home. It's only ever in the car when I'm like, man, I wish that I had a podcast to listen to, you know? So, in the future, down the line, that's what we're going to do. In a few minutes here, I'm going to be recording with Thierry. And we're going to do all the Borderlands, and it's going to be fabulous. And, oh, there's like a little spider web. Hello, goodbye, get out of here. A lot of you were asking me why I was at the DMV. It's honestly not like a big deal. It just turns out that the entire process that I did a while back when I was going to the DMV constantly, there was one final thing that never got done. And that's why I didn't, never actually completed my registration, even though I thought that I did. So I had to go back again because I got pulled over. And he was like, I should be impounding your car right now. And I was like, please don't. That already happened. I already did all that. And he was like, just go finish this registration process. And I was like, I will. And it's funny because my mom had said so many times, she was like, don't you think that it's weird that you don't have plates yet? And I was like, She was like, no, that's weird. That's weird. You should look into that. And I was like, okay, I will. And then I never did. And it turns out apparently it wasn't all done. And here's the silly thing, is that I go to the DMV, right? And before, like the first time that I went there, they were like, we'll mail you all this stuff. This time, I go in there, I hand her all of the paperwork, got everything done, and she just pulls out a packet with plates and the stickers in there and just hands it to me and goes, have a good day. And I was like, I just get the plates? And she was like, yeah. I was like, okay, bye. I was like, not going to question it too much. And fortunately, I had a power drill in the backseat of my car, so I just put those plates on immediately. Very excited. I kind of want to put my my old plates up somewhere in the apartment. Did I show you? Did I show you this last time? I started putting things up. I'm very happy. This is like a really adorable present that Jeannie gave me. And then these are our Omocat pieces. But the rest of the Omocat pieces are still at the framers, so I don't have them yet. But one day I'll have them and it'll be amazing. But yeah. So that's been my day. But I think that we're going to record in a couple minutes here, so I'm going to go. But I hope that you guys had an amazing day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. Mwah.